Good evening, it is December 2nd, this is the Water and Sewer Committee meeting. The time is now 6:34 p.m. First item on the agenda, approve the minutes from the 11/4/2015 meeting. Has everybody received and reviewed a copy of those minutes?
There's nothing in it.
Agenda, that's all I need.
Oh.
The minutes.
Oh, I got two agendas here.
That's last month.
It's last month's okay.
Do you have one, Tom? Do you have the regular minutes? No, the minutes.
Oh, I read it online.
There's regular minutes and then there's executive
Yeah.
session there.
Yeah.
Any corrections to those minutes?
Make a motion to accept the minutes on November 4th.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we also have the minutes for the executive session from November 4th, 2015 at 6:30. Has everybody received those minutes and had a chance to review them?
Make a motion to accept the minutes of the executive session of November 4th.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I believe we do need to sign these minutes.
Just one copy, right?
Yeah, just one copy. Just one copy, all of us.
I'll
just
pass
it
it
around.
No, I wasn't there, so
Yeah.
Okay.
basically I abstained from voting on both of them, but I did read them.
And my understanding is that Mark Devine will not be at the meeting tonight?
Correct.
Okay.
Come on.
The water and sewer report from the superintendent?
All right, what we did this month so far, dig safe,
Then.
because of the gas company. We marked our water services and our mains on Lakeside, Courtyard, Brandon Road, First Ave, Second Ave, Third Ave, Fourth Ave, Fifth Ave. The gas company's putting in a new water main. We found all the curb stops and we turned them to make sure that they
Gas
all
main.
work.
Put in a gas main.
Excuse me?
You
Put in
said
a gas
you
main.
said water main.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, they're putting in a new gas main. We also started checking all the line gates in town before the snow flies, make sure we can get on them. And the water and sewer bills went out, very little complaint. Kristen did a great job for the first time doing it. Very good. That's about it. We've been mostly knocking out water sewer mains and finding curb stops. That's it for the water. Sewer department. Ruby Electric came down and installed the new pump on Patterson Ave. The pump right now only runs a half hour a day. The old one was running 4.5 hours a day. So this is going to save on electricity and water on that station. So we were just recycling it and not going anywhere with the old pump for 4 years. The sewer department also marked out all those services on Lakeside, Courtyard, Brandon Road, First Ave, Second Ave, Third Ave. They also jetted Marshall Terrace, 6th Ave, 5th Ave, 4th Ave, 3rd Ave, 2nd Ave, and 1st Ave. And they repaired the manhole on 5th Ave. We had M&M come down and suck up all the grease at the pump stations on Tanyard Road, Lakeview, Luther, Lawrence, and Pondview. Because it was,
Is it a big problem, John?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, some of those balls are that big.
Yeah.
And we used it, they made up on a jet, they brought the hose down to a little pinhole so we can blast up, because
Break it.
some of them is too big that M&M can't even suck it up to
Can't
their
lift it.
2-inch hose. So they're keeping track of how often we're doing it, and it looks like it has to be done about every 3 months. That's how bad some of the stations are. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, just in, like Wayne Ave, I mean, the thing was total, like Louis always said, baby wipes. I mean, it's unbelievable how much is going down there. So I'd like to put out flyers in that area that goes down the Wayne Ave, just saying to people, do not throw this stuff down the sewer, because this is gonna cost us money for repairing the pumps and stuff like that.
Keep in mind, those are not necessarily baby wipes. A lot of people are now using the moisture wipes
But
instead of toilet paper.
Yeah.
they're wipes nonetheless, yes. And they
Either
don't-
way, the grinder pump can't grind it, and we have to pull up the pump on Wayne Ave, pull the rags out of it and put it back down.
We, instead of a flyer, could we, with that, try putting it on the public access?
How often? But the whole thing is we put flyers in this one area, that is the problem. Maybe we can.
How about the next time we go out to read meters, we just have flyers and we put them out?
Well, yeah, but it's not, the whole town is not like this, it's just one certain area, is Wayne Ave is the only problem we're having
Okay.
in that area. And it's,
They were having it in the neighborhood up Lakeview area as well for a while.
yeah, Lawrence in that area, yeah. There's only a couple spots, other than that, it's not a lot of them. I mean, you're talking maybe 200, 300, 250 houses. You know, we could throw the flyers out in one afternoon, you know, just walk down the street and just leave them in the door.
So what do we want to say? Refrain from using non-biodegradable?
Be careful, because the packaging, and we're gonna fighting a war against marketing. The packaging all says flushable on them, flushable, they're biodegradable, whatever, but they're not. There's so much fiber in them that when they get to the pump, the grinder pump, and they just
Twist
up a knot, and they don't break up. So, you know, especially the thicker, softer ones.
We'll sit down and think about it, write it up, saying, you know,
Yeah.
different.
Can't hurt.
Can't hurt,
No.
right, and you're only talking about 250, you know, flyers.
half a sheet of paper each.
Right, just throw them out in blue paper or orange paper so they see it, and
Yeah.
if it stops two people, you know,
Right.
it's great. Also, I called with F.R. Mahoney about Kenyatta Road, about that alarm system. He still hasn't come down. He had a death in the family, and he's put me on. I'm still on
On the list.
of things to do to catch up. That's all I got for the water and sewer.
The pump that you changed,
Yes.
was the new one, what'd you do with the old one?
Ruby has it, and they're looking at it, and they're gonna repair it. So we have it on a shelf, so if that ever breaks down, we can also throw it in that Conan Ave.
It would fit that Conan.
Well, we'd have to do a little plumbing, but it works the same way at Conan. That, you know, we won't be in a mess without a pump. So we're getting a price from him, and just automatically repair it, so we have it on the shelf.
Have we gotten an update from, on the delinquents?
Rich, I talked to Rich, what do you call it? You put it on liens.
The lien.
So once they pay their taxes, water and sewer get paid first before your taxes on the houses get paid.
And we've done that on people that were over what?
$500. We did start hitting people before that are over $500.
Okay.
So I'll see
But do we
where,
have aged accounts receivable? That's the main thing.
yeah,
We haven't done that in several years.
yeah.
Actually going after our cash flow, that's, I think, what we're talking, right? Like aged accounts receivable.
Right.
And they could be on a lien for 20 years.
Right. And the whole thing is, you know,
When the property gets sold,
we get paid, but then again, if nobody's there and the houses are sitting there,
But if they are there, what can we do?
we can threaten to shut them off on that, yes.
Okay.
So,
And we've done that one at a time.
oh yes, we have,
Mhm.
yeah, and they all paid
The first time we did it, I believe each department brought in approximately $80,000 to each account,
Right.
you know?
I think that we had spoken about this and we determined that we were going to pick a dollar amount.
Yep.
And over that, and over a period of, I forget what we said, 120 days, one cycle, 2 cycles, and we were going to put out the notices.
Okay,
What
6
what
months.
did we decide?
It's a 3-month cycle.
but nothing was decided. We was gonna talk to Rich and find out how bad it is. And Rich decided, Rich, put it on the,
But he would only put the liens out for items over a year, I believe, right?
I'm not sure.
I believe that's what it is. I believe it's at a year. Or it might be $500, like you said.
Each just.
I've been there, I've been on the list.
Because he talked about, because people called and gotten some, he just did the demands and then he's either right about to do the liens or he already did them, but.
How do we determine if someone is still living in the property and using water? Just by an increase in the billing?
You tell them the bill.
Yeah. If there's any usage, if there's usage, someone's there.
How many houses do you have approximately now not using water?
Was it 75, 80, something like
Yeah.
that?
Wow.
Still that, it's been averaging that number, upwards of 100.
Yeah, it was up to
For several
95
years.
1 year, yeah.
Do you think it would be worthwhile for us to go out and try to determine if someone's living there?
Oh, we do. That's on the meter repair list. If there's no usage or anything like that, we take a ride by and say, oh, that house is vacant. Or if somebody's living there, we try to get into the house and get the meter repaired or
We have a
whatever.
vacant list, you can always have them confirm it.
We have a vacant list, something like I said.
Okay, so what's the downside about putting out these notices of our intent to shut off if the bill isn't paid?
There is no downside.
Okay, well, let's do it.
But isn't, I thought you can't shut people off after November 1st.
I think that's only gas and electricity, utility wise.
Yeah, for heat.
Oh,
For heating
okay.
purposes.
Well, if there are children and old people, we have to give them water certain times of the day.
Okay, so it is a,
Maybe it's a spring type of thing, where you can get, because we can actually get onto the paint them like you were doing.
Yeah.
You would paint the curb stop,
Yeah.
people would know you were there, they saw the blue
Well, we-
arrow,
Yeah.
they saw the curb stop painted.
Yeah.
You know, you delivered the flyer, the door knocker.
Yeah,
We went through the whole process, certified mail,
yeah, we,
door knocker.
second time, and then the
Yeah.
third time is
Yeah.
the date we're shutting it off.
And we actually had banks paying bills
Yeah.
for individual customers, so we wanted to show the water wouldn't be shut off. It's something we really have to look into, just to keep our operation solvent, so maybe come spring, it's really something to say, okay, time to
Well,
step
we
up.
Start in February and
Start.
with our goal for April 1st, shut up.
You know?
Yep.
Because like I say, we do have a process, the process is still on the bulletin board.
Yep.
You know, door knock, all the different door knockers you had,
Yep.
certified mail you had. But you can't spend a ton of money going after $50, but we
Right,
did have
it
some
was,
people.
it was originally $500, anybody that owed more than $500.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Because we had one account that was in multi-thousands, you
yes, yeah,
know?
yeah, and the person didn't have the money to pay for it too.
okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for February. and We'll start that
Start pursuing it.
process then. Okay, so,
Just one more thing. Last meeting, we got our, what we had in retained earnings. And I don't know if there's any project you gentlemen want to do for the springtime, coming springtime, of some major job. Because we got 1.8 in the bank.
so what do we have out there?
What do we have for projects?
Right, and the one I was thinking of is started at Dippin' Donuts and go all the way down to School Street and then go down to Oxford Ave, and a whole new trunk line down through there. That way that's all set up.
That's 200th century piping.
Oh, yeah.
The original
The original
piping.
mill
Yeah.
piping, you know?
Yeah.
Stevens in the mill. And the problem we had with the gate that popped on the bridge was it the summer or
July.
July or something, the water was coming back, my guys were almost up to their waist, you know, trying to put the top of the gate valve back on, because we couldn't stop the water. From all, it wasn't our trunk line from the gate on West Main Street, it was Charlton Road, School Street, they were all draining back because the valves weren't open.
Do you have any idea of the cost of that?
No, that's where I'm just throwing this out there, or you guys, you know, what projects would you like to think about that we can do, or?
I know John spoke about it. I think what we could do is, if we could get a rough estimate, what the construction cost is per foot, then we could make a decision upon that. And we could also research what our debt is. Even though we have 1.8, you still have about $1 million in debt.
Yeah,
So now, you know that's gonna be a $2 million job, compared to what you spent on the last two jobs, give or take. So how much debt do you want to take on,
Carry,
and how much do you want to take out of retained earnings to offset the debt? I agree with John, yes, it's time to do an upgrade somewhere, but it has to be within, financial, reasonable,
All right.
you know?
So why don't you gather some figures on that for the next meeting?
Because obviously we'd have to, town meeting, appropriate the funding,
Well,
and maybe look, I don't know if there's anything from the state that's available,
There hasn't been much.
project-wise, because you're still paying for West Main Street, right?
Yes,
And that was like some type of low-interest deal at the time for
Yep.
that job?
yeah. And we also got a low interest on the
Corrosion control.
control. That was for 20 years.
Yeah, so I mean, if something like that is out there, then
Can we
go
ask-
for it.
Can we ask Mark, do you think,
Yep.
if there's any money out there?
Now, Mark is the one I'm gonna see, because I talked to him about it already, and I forgot what it was already. I measured it all out, how many feet it was, and get us some idea ballpark of what we're looking at.
Check with highway as well, find out if that
I have
fits into any of their,
I mentioned that
Projects.
to Mr. Guyan already, and he says, let me know, because on Pine Street, they were planning on paving that next year, if we're planning on doing it. So,
have them pave it a couple of months before we
yeah.
go to cut it up.
So Dippin' Donuts heading up towards Crawford Field?
Yep.
That's a new road right there, huh?
That's relatively new, but we can also do what we did on West Main Street. You can put it right in the sidewalk,
That'd be great, because there's, the sidewalk there was not redone.
But the only thing is just the ladder was going across the services. But the last contractor we had, he fired a bullet underneath the ground without ripping up the road. So, if we can put it in the sidewalk, we're not defacing the road at all.
Okay,
And that will cut down the cost tremendously on hot top.
that'd be great.
Yeah, just build a new sidewalk.
Huh?
Just build a new sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have something for you at the next meeting.
I'll get a rough idea,
Yeah.
ballpark estimate.
Okay. Jay, can you give us an update on your meeting with the town administrator regarding the issue of compensation for the,
John and I met with the town administrator, we told him the story. At that particular time, speaking with him, he totally supports our theory and our thinking. And I brought the information back to Kristen, and when we spoke, we were going to do a survey on area sewer superintendents. So we have that for backup, a full-time sewer superintendent versus a stipend type situation to balance and offset the salary. And he requested a job description, which I believe the job description is in the works, somewhere down like that. And the personnel board meets December 15th, so someone has to be available to meet with the personnel board to explain our situation.
okay, so he indicated that he supports us.
Yes, wholeheartedly.
And so he supports the idea of having one person do both jobs. And he said that we would need to create a new, or he was going to create a new job description.
Or were we going to go by what we had, Kristen, the two job? Wasn't there some homework from previous on job
Yeah.
descriptions?
Yeah, Dan was in the works or something, and
Okay. The, let's talk about that for a minute. So we put together a job description for a combined position, water and sewer superintendent. And we get that approved by the personnel board. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that now there's no longer a separate position for sewer superintendent and a separate position for, what if we get that approved, but we don't get the money approved? Is that a concern? Is that?
That's a concern for me.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole endeavor, to combine and keep the people in place we have.
Okay, so we would only want it approved then if it came along with money that.
To meet the criteria we're asking for.
Okay.
We do have a range, a salary range we spoke about, and it's
And that range was what, 10 to 15?
10 to 15, somewhere in there. And obviously to keep the employees we have. Because as we've mentioned, it's working. That's the bottom line. I told Greg the work that's being done, everyone's happy to hear it, happy to see it, the men are working together. And I think we have a sales pitch we have to give to the personnel board.
Okay.
This is the way we're thinking.
So the sales pitch you're talking about would be, this is gonna save us $60-something thousand.
For beginners. Yep.
And on top of that, we believe one person can do the
Mhm.
job. And most importantly, we do not believe we need a full-time sewer superintendent.
Right. We do not need to spend $70,000 or $80,000 to hire a sewer superintendent
Okay.
for a system that's just a collection.
And all that
system.
was explained to Greg, and he
Mhm.
supported that. Okay. Well, that's very important, because in the past with Peter really had a lot of influence over the decisions of the personnel board.
It was mentioned how if we can save $60,000 on a sewer superintendent salary, we can take that money and apply it to infrastructure, pump upgrades, generator upgrades, to serve the public,
Okay.
infiltration, etc. That money seriously will not go towards retained earning, in my opinion. It'll go towards, as John's finding out, generators, pumps, controls, alarms.
We're also gonna have
Yeah.
we have the potential of getting a hefty bill from Webster
Yeah, oh yeah,
for improvements to the plant over
Yeah.
there. That's coming.
That's spread out amongst the tax base though.
That's spread out, but
The capital, yeah, but
Yeah, the
we,
capital.
for
we still-
the
we
true
still-
up, we're gonna have
Yeah,
a bill
true
from
up,
them.
yeah.
true up,
Yeah.
there's a potential for some
Yeah.
true up money
Yeah.
out there.
Are we getting like comparable positions paid, for different towns that actually have a guy that,
Yeah, I have some data, some of it's
Okay.
real local and some of it's not as local, but it's
Okay.
hard to find,
What was that report, the Tina something report you were talking about?
The Tater and Howard? Yeah, I have that report. It shows, like, the different community, whether it's municipal, private, run, if it's how many people it serves, so it's good because you can base it on the number of residents that
yeah.
have used it. And then if the position is, is it a manager, is it a superintendent, is it just a foreman? And it lists all the salaries for all those all the way down.
So this was a study that was done,
This is a little older, it's 2010, so it's not,
okay, so 2010, and an independent engineering firm, I assume?
yeah.
Okay, so I will work with the town administrator then to put together that combined job description, and I'll make sure that he understands, and on the 15th, that they understand that we do not want this approved if it doesn't come along with money, because we're going to obviously not, we're not going to have one person do that job without additional compensation.
they can't expect that. I mean, they can't take on that much responsibility and
No,
not be
I
compensated.
agree. We just want to make sure we don't back into a hole here.
So,
that we can't
yes,
get out of.
that has to be, it's not a sales pitch, it's the facts. Here's what we're doing employee-wise, and things are starting to work. So which means, do we need a quorum? Do we have to post a meeting?
Well,
Who would be at the,
I think it's very important that at least 3 of us go,
three of us?
so let's post that as a meeting.
Oh, okay. For
Okay.
And
For
I
the-
will be
joint
going.
personnel?
Is there
Yeah.
anybody else that will be?
I would go.
Is that during the day, or is
It
that?
is.
Or did
What
they-
time during
It
the
is a
day?
day meeting, it's in the morning.
Okay, I've still got 6 hours to burn, so before Christmas, so
So
actually
could
out of my
you,
workout.
could you just let us know exactly what time that is?
It's at 10:05.
10:05, okay. So 10:05,
10:05.
15.
Yeah.
5 minutes to get a cup of coffee.
When I asked to be placed on the agenda, I thought that maybe one representative was going, so I didn't say that everybody was going, but I don't know how to address that now, just
Okay.
send another,
Send an email or however you communicate.
Post
It was
it.
brought up at the meeting tonight. And
okay.
There's a
possibility.
just say more than one
More
commissioner
than
would
one.
like to attend.
Now, here's the million-dollar question. At the last meeting, we made a commitment to the superintendent that we would have all this ironed out by tonight. And we obviously don't. So you're on the spot here, John, but not really. I mean,
No.
you can back out of this anytime you want.
Well, like it says,
It's only 2 weeks away, John.
yeah, Greg says it's, but,
Supports it.
no, retroactive.
Yeah, that was brought up also.
So,
Fairness,
as
it
long
has
as
to be
it's-
retroactive.
So no matter what,
Yeah.
I'll get compensated for what I'm doing.
Yes.
Right, so yeah, no problem.
On the combined, are we done with that job description? Is that put together yet?
No,
No, okay.
no. Greg did want to have some input on that, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, but you'd asked me to hold off
Correct.
because we want to make sure that everyone
Mhm.
agreed that he should
Okay.
help write it.
So I was going to work with Greg. We have the two job descriptions, and essentially, I was just going to eliminate the redundancy and combine the new duties. for me.
Before that 15th meeting, could you just send out,
Yes.
maybe the two old ones and the combined? Just so that when we go sit down and talk about it, we know what we're talking about.
I will do that.
Thanks.
Put a list together of things you've done, is that something that's,
No, we don't have to do that now, right? You already met with Greg, so.
right, if you want a list of things that's been going on.
Well, maybe it'd be a
since
good
he's
idea, yes, if we,
When you go
if
through
we
the
had it in
personnel-
front of us to say, hey, these are the projects John has taken on since he started, you know, all the way from, right, you know, jetting,
Yeah.
what you discovered.
Okay.
Like you said, every time you turn around, it's another,
Yeah.
Yeah,
another.
Understand that the people that we're going to be talking to do not have a clear understanding of what you do.
Right.
So what we want to show them is all the additional work that John Meehan has been doing to cover our butt during this interim period of time.
And you're talking just for sewer?
Correct.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, just briefly, an update on the,
can I just add to that, like the jetting, you know, okay, you can say, you know, last year they got to do, you know,
12 streets.
12 streets now, you know, this year I've got them already done, 3/4 of town, whatever it is, you know, and-
Pumps, everything.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, an
That's
update.
good.
An update on the complaint that we received regarding the lack of showers and facilities at the building that is now being used by the sewer guys.
They have not moved up yet. They have not moved up yet because Greg, I have never seen anybody come and check out the mold yet. So they're still at their place, but they come to me every morning after they check the stations.
What's the holdup?
Okay, now, we'll talk about that later. But my understanding from the meeting was that we were not going to delay a transfer up to the new station. We had made arrangements for the guys to use the lunchroom at the upper plant in the meantime until we had the inspection done.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, so let me just give an update and some background. We received a complaint from an employee regarding the fact that the new location doesn't have a shower. It doesn't have facilities. The state representative for the union came up and we did site visits. We made the first thing we did was we made the union steward and the state representative aware of the fact that even though there had been a shower at the old location, the shower had not worked for a long, long period of time. And according to the complainant, even, a period of time of more than 2 years. We also made the union steward and the state representative aware of the fact that we have a policy where all they need to do if they've been soiled is let us know and they go home and take a shower. And that's always been our procedure. We also made them aware of the fact that these two buildings that we're talking about here are the new building that they're going to use and the water department facility are right next door to each other at a distance of about 60 yards. So they do have access to a toilet and to a sink. At that point, that pretty much became a non-issue. The issue of a shower toilet and a sink became a non-issue. However, another issue was brought up at that time, and that was the issue of mold. Mold specifically in the lunchroom. I mean, when we went down there to do our inspection on this day, there was no mold apparent, but what we were told was that when they were cleaning up, they believed there was mold. Okay, so that's what John's talking about. And what we said at the time was, okay, certainly we can still use that as a location, and if you're not comfortable eating there, I mean, keep in mind, they're not there much.
Yeah.
Okay? This is a staging area, and an area where, they can eat. So what we determined was that until we have an inspection done, and I'll follow up on that, John, but until we have an inspection done, those guys can go up, right up the hill, 60 yards away, and they can use the refrigerator up there and the lunchroom up there. But we did not, and this is the main point that came from that meeting, we did not want to delay the transfer because of any of this stuff. And it was agreed that we didn't have to. Okay, so we want those guys up there.
And you want the trucks parked up there then?
Yep.
On your
Hey,
property?
Question, why aren't they, is there not enough room in the upper building just for them to use that? With you guys, with the water guys?
No, there really isn't.
It's a small office.
Just a,
Yeah, they want to have a separate area.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The whole area that the water guys meet in is about as big as a stadium.
this table right here is where four of us sit and eat and put all the paperwork and all
The
that.
whole,
But-
you couldn't set this whole table here up in that
But
space.
no, there's not enough room. But on a temporary basis, it's not going to be a problem.
No.
And it was agreed that they would do that. So let's go ahead and do that.
You want that in a
Well, they
motion?
should make a motion, then we'll have to vote on it, so they can be told it was voted on.
Okay.
Make a motion that as of, well, I'll tell them tomorrow, so as of Friday,
By next week, Monday,
wait,
yeah, whatever,
as of Friday, they will report to,
Well, they've got a lot of stuff to move up there. I mean, because they're also gonna bring their tools and all that, also the toolbox and all the equipment they have down there is all gonna get moved. I've been having them packed up and getting ready to go. So,
How much
But-
time do we need to give them?
oh no, that's fine, just tell me, then move them up there, and I'll get them up there by end of next week, they'll be there.
Why don't we just, for the, just in case if something comes up or anything like that, why don't we just say by the first of the year, everything is moved up, that's a month. By the first of the
you're
year,
operating out of West Main Street.
all operations will be at,
Well,
off of West Main Street.
The flip side to that is we do not want to fill up the oil tank again. So you will have to take a ride down there, John, see what the level is,
Yep.
and make sure you communicate with the oil people to take that location off their delivery list.
Right.
I don't want to fill it up again next week, and now
Yep.
you have another 275 gallons of oil.
so you got to the first, but to get it done.
But you're not,
Gotta move this-
you're not topping the tank off. How's that sound?
Yeah, we just paid a bill for West Main Street.
For West Main Street?
And I think I did just get one for sewer, but it was only like $28 because it was a credit or something, so. check
I'll make that a motion that is, as of the first of the year, that the sewer department will be up at the water building.
They'll
If
be
not
up.
sooner,
They'll be up at their lower
yes.
station, and
All operations will be off
and then
West
on
Main
an
Street.
interim basis, they can store their food and have their lunch
If not sooner.
at at the water station. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell me the building and operating it now is some pristine, sanitation landmark,
Right. Now, keep in mind, we spent just about an hour out there inspecting. And during the discussion, Greg and I committed that we would look into the cost of either putting a shower in the water department area, or putting a toilet, a sink, and a shower in the lower building. We would look into the cost of that. We didn't make any commitment as to doing it, but we would look into the cost of it. And there was no time frame given on this. It would just be when we could afford to do it. So what I'd also like to do is start the process of looking into the cost of that, just so that we have the information. I mean, and the feasibility of it. I don't know if there is, I believe there is there's water there.
Where's that water come from, up above?
Okay.
Do you own in front of that building,
Yep.
all the way to the road?
No, just to the wall.
So to get a forced sewer main, you'd be
Well,
able
what you
to
end up doing is to get one of those grinder pumps.
put it up
send
up the hill.
up our driveway and dump into our bathroom.
Certainly
So
have
just some,
expertise.
just some approximate numbers so that we can look at that down the road at the appropriate time. And that's an update on that complaint. Greg was going to follow up with the inspection for mold. I'm going to follow up with Greg to see where we stand on that.
Yeah, because you've already been in there, they've already been in there painting and cleaning, right, John?
Yes.
Yeah? So they're a step ahead.
Yeah, it's all cleaned up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And as I have been having, like any day today, get everything in boxes, and get it ready to go. So,
Now, they're going to store their vehicles there. There's no room inside for those vehicles.
we believe we may be able to get one in.
Okay.
We'll have to find that out once we can, well, once the winter comes and we'll start jockeying things around and we can move some of our lawnmowers or stuff like that down to their place down there, the garage, to see if we can squeeze at least one of with the truck with all the equipment in it, all the parts in it.
Okay, so it was mentioned that there have been some issues with vandalism at the building in front of that building, which would be the PJ building.
I don't know if they will.
Okay, so maybe it would also make sense for us to look into the cost of, if we're just talking about one vehicle, or even if it's two, erecting a chain link fence or something, just an area chained off for the vehicles.
Do you gonna want this done before the snow flies? This fence put in? Because those are cement pads
Those are cement pads. Okay.
around it.
What's the safest location with floodlights, upper or lower?
Well, we could always put another floodlight out in front on the garage side. So when people drive by on West Main Street, you can just glance over there and see the trucks. And the only downside on that would be, I mean, in the summertime, that's inviting the kids to come on over and
Hang out at
they hang out with the skateboards and all that stuff.
You also
Yeah,
mentioned,
they
Jumped
love
in
the
there and
pads.
skateboarding in there for years.
you also mentioned coming off the roof line
Yeah,
with like a lean-to
yeah.
with doors.
But the whole thing is it's getting close to winter now, you know?
They kept their trucks outside
Right.
down there too.
Right.
You
Right,
know?
there's not the question of keeping the trucks outside, it's just trying to, you know,
Which is a safer neighborhood.
Actually, cheaper than putting up a fence, a small closed circuit camera system is short money. They're real cheap nowadays. You put a couple of cameras to camera the whole area, which probably isn't a bad idea anyways. It goes back to a recorder. It doesn't prevent things from happening, but it gives you
Something
an
happens.
avenue
No,
where if something does.
You just put a sign up that says smile, you're on camera. You know, and as soon as people look up and see the cameras, you know. But, you know, like I said, we can squeeze one truck in, then we have just one truck left. If worst case scenario, we could park one truck here at the town hall, like Dennis does. With that truck, just park it in the parking lot here. In the worst case scenario. In the morning, you just drive down here until we figure out what we're gonna do.
You've also got the 128 West Main Street as well. I can't volunteer the property up, but
120.
the fire
Oh,
station.
oh,
There's people there 24 hours a day now.
yeah, well, the police, there's cameras all around
Yeah.
here, you know, and you got the police department right down there, there's not.
There's places to put
Yeah.
a truck.
Well, let's see if we can make room inside for one truck, and then temporarily until we do resolve the security issue, why don't we just have them park it at the town hall?
Well, the ideal truck to put inside is the newer one with the plow, value-wise.
Value-wise, yes.
The old 1-ton, let it stay outside because it's on its last leg anyhow.
Okay,
The investment's in the new truck. And that building's heated, right?
yes.
And I mean, if they have to go out and plow their property, we should put that truck back into a heated spot.
Is there a
You know.
toolbox on either truck?
Well, the old truck is a tool, is a
Utility body.
utility body.
Utility body's got all the stuff in it.
Is it loaded with a lot of expensive equipment? No.
Not expensive equipment,
Okay.
no. Yeah, there's locks on all the doors too, you can lock it up.
Well,
And, excuse me, but the other truck is narrower, smaller.
Yeah,
Has a better effort, a better chance of fitting that one in it than the dual
Yeah.
wheel utility body truck.
like I said, I can park the other one down in front of their office, we get a spot right there in front of our 2 garage doors. For the time being, until, if we have any problem, then I'll move. But,
okay, in front of the spotlight.
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
They're less likely to swing around under a light.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
right.
So one inside and one under the spotlight up at the upper station.
So we'll take one of our old trucks and put it in the back room where it's undercover, but it's not really heated, but it is heated somewhat. We'll put one of our pickup trucks in there and move in this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as it's away from the.
Now, the building you guys, the water department guys use for, that's the old building that you just put a table in?
Excuse me?
The water guys where you sit and eat and?
Yes, that's the old part, yeah,
It's just, and you threw a table in there?
yeah.
Just a thought, instead of, could we look into upgrading the lower building with a, toilet and running sewer pipes there and whatever?
Well, that one isn't much bigger than the one up the top.
No, I meant, I was thinking, like, get a new building up top off the side so that you could use.
Well, we just decided to put a new
Just
a
spend money
roof
on
on
it.
it.
No, I'm not saying,
Well,
get
the
get
only
rid
thing
of
is-
that building.
The only thing is, that's in zone 1. So you can't just,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I was thinking, one of my guys was saying, why don't we just get one of those Morton buildings with garages and put it up top, because that's in zone
It's
1.
in zone 1, you've got a lot of
Yeah,
rules
go
before you
for
can
safety.
do anything.
Well, no, not even that, it's DEP or frown on it, you know?
Yeah.
But you could put a Morton building in front of, on the side of our garage down below, facing West Main Street. You know, the guys drive the trucks right into that small Morton building. You know, you need to be heated, because eventually
What's that?
I'd like to get the gas
Yeah,
main
that's what
down
I'm
there, because
saying.
we have the gas from the generator, and it was sized to heat down below for gas. So if you run a gas main down there, and put gas heaters in there,
What's heating that building right now?
an old oil furnace.
Wouldn't be bad to look into it,
What's that?
putting a Morton building down there.
No, then you can bring all, you know, if you size it, you know, like,
Well, that's what I'm saying,
if you
it's,
bring all the generators out of the sewer place and put them up in there, and,
At long term.
it gives you extra storage, that's what I mean.
right, and none of that is, you know, if we end up getting gas down there, it'd be nothing to put a gas furnace up in a corner to keep it heated too.
You'd study it.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible, it just comes to what extent, how far you want to go to pursue it, how much money do you want to spend, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea behind the move, keep in mind, was that it was a way to consolidate the two workforces so that they could be in close proximity to one supervisor, and also hopefully to decommission the other location
Save money, 'cause we're not-
to save money, so that we would just have, I mean, this, essentially, we have 2 now instead of 3. So we'd be talking, adding another one. I mean, it's something I think that we should look at down the road, but it's not one of the least expensive alternatives for addressing the issue of possible vandalism to a vehicle. And that's all we were talking about here. I mean, I don't think we have the capacity to do everything we need except put all our vehicles indoors.
Right, and prior to the combining the boards, the vehicles weren't indoors anyhow,
Right.
you know? The only thing they had is a gate on the lot down there, right?
Yep.
You can go right around the drive, you know, you still get in that
You still
property,
get
can't
in.
you? You know?
They jump the fence.
Yeah, it's gated, it's fenced all around.
And that's it, that was well off the beaten path too.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like you say, police take notice, you inform the police, the cruiser comes through the neighborhood.
Yep.
They can go right up one driveway, right through again,
That's-
right
they
back out
check
again.
all my stations
When they check
anyway.
your property,
Yep,
you'll have your floodlight on it,
yep.
private property, posted, etc. Like you say, Scott, for very, very short money, you can put a security camera up
Cameras are cheap money
today
nowadays.
with technology. Go right to a computer, you know, right to a phone.
You wanna know what's going on?
Yep.
It's right
Right
there.
here.
So temporarily, we'll put one inside and we'll put the other under the floodlight. And then again, you know, we'll visit this subject again if we run into any problems.
As if I do run into any problems, we'll stop parking the truck down here until we come up with something.
Is there anything else, like, instead of lawnmowers that you could move down to the sewer? Free up room?
Well, no, because the only thing is we got the air compressor, we need that there indoors,
Yeah.
you know?
And
And
move the generator doors up
the
there.
generator will be is indoors now.
Yeah.
We moved the dump truck in the back room, we moved all, they really don't have much room down there. I believe I can get my, something else in down below at their place to give us a little more room in the back room. So,
And their generators are staying down there, right?
yeah. There's, like I said, there's quite a few things in there that has to come out of there, out of the garage. Where I'm gonna have the other generators set up all in front of the garage door, so you don't have to move one generator to get to, you know, so you back up to one, what door, what generator do you need?
Yeah.
You back up the door, but then everything else is stuffed on the side of it, you know? They also got that camper there for the camera. So that could go outside, the worst case scenario, you know, because it's made for outside. But we'll work it out.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.